It's Monday, March 16th. In the headlines, AI hackathon signals growing momentum for Jamaica's tech job expansion. In business news, visitor arrivals rebound after Hurricane Melissa. Regionally, the University of the West Indies Vice Chancellor highlights low higher education enrollment in the Caribbean. And in sports, Montego Bay United thrash Waterhouse FC 4-0 to open the third round of Jamaica Premier League. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. A major push to expand Jamaica's presence in the global technology sector is gaining momentum. Principal and founder of Intellibus, Ed Wattal, says his vision of opening job opportunities in ICT for Jamaicans is becoming increasingly achievable. This comes as dozens of young innovators gathered in Kingston for this year's National AI Hackathon. We caught up with the conceptualizer as participants were streaming in to take their place.
Well, I think over 1,000 people in the room. They're going to be competing on what is called the hackathon, which is essentially creating software and creating solutions that solve problems. We have had in the past people create solutions like a mobile app, which a blind person can use to see what's around them. Simply point the camera and it's going to tell them using AI. So it's about using AI and solving problems.
The event challenged participants to build artificial intelligence-powered solutions to real-world problems, while showcasing the growing interest in technology and innovation among Jamaicans. Mr. Wattal says initiatives like this are part of a broader vision to create and utilize AI hardware.
And that requires a big, massive labor force which is trained in AI. And that's what we're really trying to do, because that labor force exists in all these economies in the Caribbean, in different island nations, in Africa, Latin America. Our focus is in the Caribbean right now, specifically on Jamaica. And we've been talking to all other nations in the Caribbean. They're all excited. They're all closely watching what Jamaica is doing.
Throughout the competition, participants received support through training videos, live workshops, industry coaching, and ready-to-use development templates to help jumpstart their projects. Jason Clark came all the way from St. James.
An event like this definitely makes a difference. And what happened to me is Hurricane Melissa actually took off my roof. So we had to get the roof decked. And yes, the roads are terrible as well, because I live between two rivers, and both of the rivers overflew and really ate out the road. So we're in the process of even helping the government to fix the road. We're getting some malt to dump on the road. And yes, an event like this really makes a difference, because after going through all of that stress, you need something to take the edge off. So I'm really here for the good vibes. I'm here to meet new people and really have a great time.
Deshaun Morgan is a student from Knox College in Manchester.
There's a lot of winners here, a lot of winners, better than me even. But like I said, I'm here for the experience, the networking, and that type of stuff.
From just about 1,000 participants, 100 teams were shortlisted, and 10 presented their app in the finals. But Team Fingers Cramped scored the top prize of $800,000.
Designed to help Jamaican law enforcement and the Jamaica Defense Force identify and locate missing and wanted persons faster. Argus maintains a secure facial database and uses real-time camera analysis, facial recognition, and AI aging simulation to detect potential matches across live feeds.
Minister of Investment and Commerce, Senator Auburn Hill, says the government of Jamaica remains committed to ensuring that all Jamaicans have access to products that meet the highest safety standards. In a message published on March 15, World Consumer Rights Day, he described his ministry as Jamaica's business ministry and explained that his team continues to encourage, support, and facilitate businesses to consistently deliver safe products and services.
The government of Jamaica remains committed to ensuring that all Jamaicans have access to products that meet the highest safety standards. As the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Jamaica's business ministry, we encourage, support, and facilitate businesses to consistently deliver safe products and services through compliance with the regulatory processes and best practices. This means fewer consumers are harmed, fewer families lose money, and Jamaica's standards remain strong.
The Westmoreland Health Department has confirmed one case of COVID-19 in the parish since the start of the year. Speaking at the monthly meeting of the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation, Medical Officer of Health Dr. Marcia Graham said COVID-19 is among 4 respiratory viruses currently circulating in the parish. She says, in addition to respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, and 1 strain of influenza A previously identified, a second strain of influenza A, the one linked to the 2009 pandemic, has also been detected. Dr. Graham urged residents to continue participating in proper respiratory etiquette as the viruses continue to circulate. Jamaica recorded its first COVID-19 case in March 2020 and more than 156,000 infections before the pandemic ended in 2023. While COVID-19 is no longer considered a public health emergency and routine tracking has stopped, isolated cases continue to be reported. As China charts its future through the 15th five-year plan, the ripple effects are expected to extend beyond its borders, offering new opportunities for the Caribbean and Latin America. Marlon Samuels has more in this report.
With its focus on innovative technologies, green energy, and infrastructure development, China is likely to expand its investments and collaborations in the region.
Well, first of all, China and Jamaica and the Caribbean have already developed a very strong economic, trade, and investment relationship. I think the upcoming five-year plan is also going to include some regulations and policies and proposals for further developing relations with countries in the Caribbean, and that would include more financing for infrastructure development and stronger bilateral trade relations and more investment opportunities from the Chinese businesses, including Chinese tech industries, which are having a very strong interest in the Caribbean market. And at the same time, the Chinese market, domestic market, is going to further open up to products from Jamaica and other Caribbean countries, primarily agricultural products and other products are highly welcome here in the Chinese market. And overall, I think politically, economically, the two countries or the two regions are going to have stronger relationship. That I also think will benefit from people-to-people exchange. We have already arranged scholarships for students from the Caribbean region to study in Chinese universities for bachelor's degrees and master's degree. And I'm very confident that such scholarship opportunities are going to expand further in the next 5 years for students from the region.
This could mean increased funding for renewable energy projects, such as solar and wind farms, helping Caribbean nations diversify their energy sources and reduce reliance on fossil fuels. The two sessions focusing on China's economic plans over the next 5 years came to an end on the weekend. The 15th five-year plan focuses on internal and external economic development, the digital economy, and connectivity. This aligns well with Latin America and Caribbean efforts to improve infrastructure, boost trade, and foster regional integration. Chinese investments in ports, transportation, and technology could enhance regional trade routes, making it easier for Latin America and Caribbean countries to access global markets. Additionally, as China promotes sustainable development and green initiatives, Caribbean nations may benefit from environmentally friendly projects that support climate resilience, vital for island nations vulnerable to climate change.
Well, in terms of climate change and sustainability, China has developed a very strong renewable energy sector. China's newly installation of renewable energy capacity in terms of solar and wind power exceeded more than half the world's share in 2025. And China has already worked with countries in Global South, including countries in the Caribbean, in terms of developing locally grown renewable energy sector. And I think China will continue to invest in the solar industry, which I think is going very strong in Jamaica and the Caribbean because of the benefits from long days of sunshine in the region. So that's a great investment opportunity for Chinese renewable energy sector. At the same time, it's going to be a very beneficial opportunity for people in the Caribbean to, gradually divert from fossil fuel-based economy to a more renewable energy-based economy.
In essence, China's development plans could serve as a catalyst for regional economic growth, infrastructure modernization, and sustainable development, creating new avenues for cooperation and prosperity across Latin America and the Caribbean. For the news on PBCJ, I am Marlon Samuels.
In a weather update, a low-level jet stream currently building across central Caribbean is expected to bring strong, gusty winds to the island, especially southern parishes, on Monday and Tuesday. That's the word from the Meteorological Service of Jamaica. The Met Service also says a trough is expected to move into the Western Caribbean on Monday and linger through to Tuesday, and is projected to bring unstable weather conditions across Jamaica beginning Monday night. Periods of showers and thunderstorms, which may be heavy at times, are expected to affect mainly eastern and south central parishes on Monday night into Tuesday morning, with activity spreading to remaining parishes late Tuesday morning into the afternoon and evening. Fishers and other marine interests, especially inshore and offshore the south coast, should exercise caution, as sea conditions will deteriorate in the vicinity of showers, thunderstorms, and strong winds. Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the developments shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the tourism sector is rebounding rapidly from the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa. He revealed that 75% of the projected visitor arrival target has already been met, and as a result, there could be a full recovery during the upcoming winter season and going into 2027. The minister indicated that based on this recovery in visitor arrival, the projection for the industry for this year will have to be rewritten. Several companies listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange released their financial results. First up, Kingston Properties recorded a decline in profit for the 2025 financial year, despite higher revenue from properties in Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, the United States, and the UK. The company is reporting net profit of about US $2.04 million, down from roughly US $4.59 million for the year before. However, revenue increased to approximately US $6.35 million, up from US $4.84 million in 2024. The improvement in revenue was driven mainly by rental income, which rose to just over $6 million, compared with about $4.7 million the previous year. Up next, Tropical Battery reported in its financials for the first quarter of the financial year of 2026 a net profit of 51.7 million Jamaican dollars for the first quarter, compared to a restated net loss of 102.9 million Jamaican dollars in the corresponding period last year. Revenue increased by 6.2% to 1.63 billion Jamaican dollars, supported by disciplined pricing and steady demand across core markets and subsidiaries. And finally, we look at the financial results of investment house Barita, which recently acquired JN Fund Managers. They reported that for the 3-month period ending December 31, 2025, which is Barita's first quarter, they saw net interest income increase by 31% to $222 million, with fees and commission up by 14% to 1 billion Jamaican dollars. This was due in the main to improvements in investment banking as well as asset management results. For the trading period of March 13, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Sagicor Group Jamaica Limited with 4,012,903 units, or 21.91% of market sales activities. Trans Jamaica Highway Limited with 3,444,947 units, representing 18.81% of market sales activities. Future Energy Source Company Limited, FESCO, ordinary shares with 2,899,105 units, representing 15.83% of market sales activities. Investor activity remained concentrated in distribution, insurance, and energy plays on the stock exchange, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market, based on Bank of Jamaica data for March 13, 2026, Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. For the US dollar, trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $158.16 and buying at $156.39. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gain supported by $4.34 transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $112.65 and was bought for $116.99. For the British pound, continued volatility offered short-term trading opportunities of $3.62 in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $208.33 and was bought for $211.95. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, it's no secret, inflation is rising. Interest rates fluctuate, and the cost of living continues to stretch household budgets. In this environment, most people focus on cutting expenses, but there is another strategy that's often overlooked, and that's your credit report. Your credit report is not just a record of past borrowing. It is a financial asset that influences your ability to access opportunity. Here are 3 ways it helps you navigate economic uncertainty while positioning yourself to grow. Cash flowing assets. First, it determines the cost of capital. How much interest is the bank going to charge you? Second, it expands your financial options. And third, it supports asset building, not just spending. For our funded and focused feature, across Jamaica and the Caribbean, many businesses are still operating the way companies worked 15 or 20 years ago. But those who adopt AI, artificial intelligence, early will gain advantages in marketing speed, customer response time, data-driven decisions, operational efficiencies. And the businesses that combine local market knowledge with AI tools will likely become the next generation of regional leaders. So the biggest mistake beginners make with AI is they subscribe to many tools but never build a system. Instead, do this. Just start with one goal: more clients, better cash flow, faster marketing, less administrative work. And so for many entrepreneurs, the challenge isn't just working hard, it's doing too many things alone. So you're marketing the business, managing clients, tracking money, sending invoices, and trying to grow at the same time. So artificial intelligence can help simplify this. The goal is not to buy every new tool. The goal is to create a small digital support team that handles repetitive tasks so you can focus on revenue and strategy. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing clarity to capital, markets, and strategy. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, questions are mounting about the future of Belize's long-standing partnership with Cuba's medical brigade. Several governments across the region are reportedly scaling back the use of Cuban doctors amid increasing pressure from the United States. But Belizean officials have remained tight-lipped on the issue. News 5 Belize has the story.
Uncertainty persists around the future of Belize's Cuban medical brigade, as regional shifts and quiet negotiations raise new questions about a partnership Belize has relied on for decades. Across Latin America, governments are scaling back their use of Cuban doctors, moves widely seen as reactions to mounting U.S. pressure. And now Belizean officials have gone unusually silent. When we pressed the Prime Minister for answers, he would only say that delicate negotiations are underway, offering no details on who's at the table or what changes might be coming. All this unfolds as Cuba faces a rapidly worsening humanitarian crisis, adding even more weight to whatever decisions lie ahead.
What can you tell us about discussions surrounding the Cuban Medical Brigade at this point in time?
I think we are going through some delicate negotiations at this moment, and I'm not in a position to comment.
Negotiations between who or with who? Who are involved in those negotiations?
I am not in a position to comment on this at this moment.
For over half a century, Cuba's healthcare system has been a beacon for developing countries. Universal, preventative, high quality, and free.
Un niño se diagnosticaba con cáncer y a los 3 días estaba operado.
But strangled by powerful new US sanctions, the system is cracking.
¿Qué pasa si esto se rompe hoy? Cruzar los dedos, que no pase.
Over the last 8 years, infant mortality rates have nearly doubled.
Nunca pensé que la salud en Cuba iba a llegar a ese extremo.
The country can no longer afford the medicines it needs.
Antes tú ibas a la farmacia y tú comprabas medicación. Han cambiado muchas cosas.
And vital machines are breaking down.
We don't need to have U.S. ships blocking our harbors, because simply by scaring off providers and by choking us through the banks, that's enough to produce the results of a blockade.
In St. Lucia, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre has dismissed claims from the opposition United Workers' Party, alleging that his administration released deceptive figures regarding the nation's fiscal health. He emphasized that the government remains transparent by releasing a quarterly debt bulletin for public scrutiny. By highlighting these regular reports, the Prime Minister maintains that the administration's financial disclosures remain accessible and verified. Vice-Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Sir Hilary Beckles, says the Caribbean has the lowest enrollment in higher education in this hemisphere. He was speaking during the annual report presentation and council meeting at the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus in Barbados. Sir Hilary says there's also a lack of strong partnerships with the private sector and governments.
From Alaska to Argentina, we in this Caribbean have the lowest enrollment in higher education. Less than 20%. Less than 20% of our young people on leaving secondary school go on to post-secondary education and training. It is madness. It's the only way to describe this, madness. Yet, again, the economic models show that what is holding back our region is not a shortage of capital, it's a shortage of the skills necessary to attract capital. It is not yet intense with the relevant planning to enable change to happen. And what we're finding in the last 4 years of COVID, post-COVID, enrollment on our campuses are declining. The enrollment is going in the wrong direction. Mona, St. Augustine, and Carefield have fewer students today than they did 5 years ago.
In sports, we have some football action from the Jamaica Premier League. Montego Bay United, MBU, is celebrating an emphatic 4-0 triumph over Waterhouse FC at Drewsland as they kicked off the third round of the Jamaica Premier League on Sunday. MBU avenged 2 losses to Waterhouse, who had beaten them twice this season, the most recent coming 6 days prior, and ended an 8-game unbeaten run by the Kingston team. Elsewhere, Taj Bryan netted a first-half brace for Portmore United as they defeated struggling Harbourview 4-2 at Ferdinand Park in the JPL on Sunday. And that's it for the news on PBCJ. Pleasant viewing.